Welcome back, guys. Today we're in the BMW M8 GTE around Brands Hatch, and this is the first time in this series that we've had a rolling start. Wish me luck. Very, very congested. I'm doing my best to stay in a gap. People diving in from the left, from the right. Scary, scary start on a very tight track. Trying to be as courteous as possible. Feel like I'm in a minority. Hoping to try and just hold the middle ground until we get to a position where I can start to attack the race a bit more. Not gonna lie to you, at the moment, it feels like I'm going backwards on the track. As we're over 20 laps, I decided to start on hards just to see if I could get some kind of advantage over not needing to pit as soon as the other guys. I suspect a lot of these guys have gone soft and mediums to start. Already find themselves back in 19th place and still getting smashed off the track. Something tells me this is not going to be an easy race. Haven't even got into any kind of rhythm with the car yet. All I've been doing is avoiding people. And now the race starts to stretch out a little. We're probably too far back to be able to influence anything here. During qualification, I noticed I was a good 7-8 seconds off the pace. Got a horrible feeling that a lot of that's got to do with the hards. On Brands, I always find this corner the toughest. I never seem to be able to hit it just at the right speed. I'm either too slow or too fast. Way down in the order. We're in P21, we've got P22 just under a second behind us. P20 is in front, getting further and further away. Really, really feeling it on these corners. I'm not going to lie to you, at that point I lost concentration completely because I was looking at how far behind the guy was in P22. The last thing I needed with such a bad start already. Feels like we can take this guy though, he's struggling. Opened the door a touch there. I just wasn't brave enough to get on the inside and capitalise. One of the problems I think when you get stuck behind somebody towards the back is that if you don't make your move soon enough, the guys in front have gone for good. As you can see, I'm having to heavily brake here just to not hit the guy. So I'll take my opportunity, I get down the outside and then hopefully start to extend away. Even the gears feel a little bit off on this car. You may have noticed that when I first started doing these series, I was still using ABS. I was using automatic gears, which is something that I'd started doing for the live shows. One less thing to think about. But as I'm getting more and more into the actual driving element, I want that control. I want to learn how to do this properly, even if it means I'm going to have a few rough races to get there. But the car just feels off, and I'm guessing a lot of that's down to the tyre choice. I'm just not getting the grip that I need to make the car perform. So I'm having to go particularly slowly through the bends. Braking distances are a little bit longer. And it's a long race to pay that price. My thoughts at this point are that I'll get to around lap 15, throw the softs on, and then go for it. Best I've managed in terms of a lap time at the moment is 1:33.3 dirty. That's actually slower than my qualification lap, which I think was a 1:32. The number of people that just have their microphones open in racing games, probably without even realising, is ridiculous. Thankfully, I've got microphone volume set all the way down, just in case, like this time, I forgot to mute the lobby. So, despite me thinking that I was going to extend away from the guy behind me, he's staying right with me. I'm not convinced I left him enough space there. I wasn't expecting him to dive into it, if I'm honest. We weren't side by side. I did my best not to contact him, but I think I forced him to brake as well. Perhaps he, a lot like myself, finds it easier to drive the circuits when you've got somebody in front of you. Always a good indicator if you're at least on the pace with somebody else. Moved a few places up, I suspect. Quite a few people have backed out. It is a long race, so if they don't get the start that they want, it's not unusual for people to just drop out. But racing's racing. We're up to P16. We've got P17 challenging again. I've got a decent line round here though. Wrong gear, that's not helped me. Still enough to hold him off. You just feel the car going wide on the tighter turns. Maybe in need of a little tuning as well. All I've been doing so far is just taking the cars at stock, particularly for the spec races like this one. Starting to open up a better gap now with P17. Getting a better feel for the car. It's just taken too many laps. Large part of the race is effectively over now. This is about racing against myself, seeing if I can get a better fastest lap, and then try and finish strong on the softs. Okay, so that's marginally improved fastest lap. At least it's a clean one. So we now reduce it to 1:32.4. think on reflection, I'd have been much better going for 2 sets of mediums. I don't think I'd have managed on 2 sets of softs. We'll see how it plays out. Some of the corners are starting to feel a bit faster now. Not really pulling any further away from P17, but he's not closing either. Something I've found in the game that's definitely helped with gear changes and being distracted, particularly when I'm streaming, is altering the volume level of my engine versus those around me. Still feel like some of these bends I'm driving to the colour of the braking line rather than reading the road. As soon as I'm seeing the ready orange colour, I'm braking a bit too soon, scrubbing a bit too much power, a bit too much speed. And then leaving me with a slow exit. On turns like that, if I'm not hitting the outside of the corner as I come out of it, that's a clear indication to me that I've not given it enough beans. And you need all of the beans. So I believe P15 here is somebody who's gone in for an early pit. Just cannot compete. I believe that's the same car as well. I'm not sure, but look at the difference. Likely that he's on softs and not having to brake half as much as me for the bends, and then he just disappears off into the distance. Brands is one of my favourite tracks. Does anybody in the community be able to tell you? One of the few racing tracks in the UK that I've actually visited to watch touring car. But for me, Brands has got everything. Exciting straights, plenty of bends, some really tight technical sections, and it's not too long a circuit, so it's easier to learn. We're starting to settle into a nice cadence now. We've got 4 or 5 seconds on the guy behind us, and we're now starting to go past people that are having to pit because of tyre choice. Problem being, of course, I'm not driving fast enough to fully capitalise on that. So as soon as these guys come out with the new tyres, they'll close me down again. Definitely feels like I'm driving better than I did when I first started. I think a combination of the rolling start and the pure aggression through the first 3 or 4 turns that a lot of people exhibit. Culminating in the off that I had just ahead. Literally means game over. I don't have the ability yet to be able to pull those kind of races back in. Perhaps in future, it might be worth me kind of just holding back. I notice a lot of drivers do that. Stay out of the way of the Muppets, let them sort it all out and then start racing. But again, right now, I'm not convinced that I have the techers to get on and do that. We've managed to reduce the fastest lap down to 1:31.4. Still feels like there's a good chunk of that to be taken off. Three or four more laps and then we'll shift on to softs. The hards are about 50% through now. More people pitting. Almost into top 10. But I suspect it'll be very temporary. Question is, can I get through the entire race without being lapped? Miles off the pace currently. I think it's very easy when you are in a longer race and the race does spread out to kind of take your foot off the gas a bit too much. It all can become a bit too safe. That's one of the reasons why I like being in behind somebody, just to kind of keep you honest. Lapping feels pretty consistent now at just over 1:31. It'll be very interesting to see what happens when the softs go on. Laps of concentration, that's going to cost me. Way too wide around there. Get braver and braver as I go through this section, understanding the limits. Driving within the confines of the tyres. Started to go left front, it's dipped into orange, so it's starting to wear now, quite badly. Probably really going to start feeling that over the next 2 laps. Danger ahead, I suspect. Both the fronts are orange. Managed about 12-13 laps. I suspect we're going to start feeling proper degradation now. There we go. Absolutely no grip. All but one tyre in the orange. We drifting, baby. one more lap out of them. And then we go in. Just to see what kind of a difference the softs will make. Appears I'm not the only one that's losing grip. All 4 tyres now screaming to be changed. E12 is just over a second behind me. As we go through these tighter sections, see the limits of the car have been reached. Off we go again, same guy. Now I don't know whether he braked there to be a gentlemanly driver or whether he was trying to ensure he didn't get a further time penalty. Either way, interesting choice. What would have been more interesting is not slamming to the back of me while we're cornering. As you can see, the car is completely lost. Time for some new rubber. So, are softs going to make a difference? We're okay for fuel. The sound of cars going past while you're in the pits. One of the worst noises in any motorsport. Right, let's get back out there. Take it steady for the first few turns, and then start to reap the benefits of the softer rubber. Feeling the difference immediately, but we don't want to overdo it. They've still got to warm up. Five laps to go. Difference in grip is night and day. Decent speed around that bend, holding the inside apex. Already feeling a little more like the car it's supposed to be. Instantly regretting going on the hard tyres to begin with. Got the heat in the tyres, and now we start benefiting from them. That's the out lap done. Let's see if we can push it a little now. 4 laps remaining. Braking's feeling smoother, cornering's feeling smoother. All I've got to do now is drive properly. Splits are already starting to come down, which is good. Started into that one a little too soon, then had to recorrect and go again. Much better, using all the track. As each successful high-speed turn is behind me, it builds confidence for the next one. And we keep pushing, we keep extending. Starting to see 10s coming back for the segment scores. And now we get a 1:8.6. 4 seconds faster. That's the cost of the hard tyres, right from the off. Feel first place closing in behind me. Thankfully, no blue flag conditions to worry about. It's in the online hoppers. The back markers get automatically ghosted, so I can continue racing, going for that lap time. Not quite as fast as the previous lap, but we're still way under what we were achieving on hards. Two laps remaining. Concentration started to waver a little bit again. First place, closely followed by second. Right behind me now. Not a great corner. This is probably where they're going to catch me. Soft tyres have worn so quickly. We've only had them for, what, 3-4 laps? And they're already approaching 50% worn. Much better throttle and brake control from first place. Straight through. Really pleased how close I'm staying to these guys. They must have had a hell of a battle if they're this close after that period of time. Down to start the final lap. Take a smidge off my best lap. Again, I put that down to the fact that I've got somebody to track behind rather than being on my own. For a second, I get excited because I can see that I'm closing in on the two cars in front. And then I remember that they finished their race and are now controlled by AI, just cruising. Still set myself a target to see if I can get past at least one of them. Can we catch Ghosted P1 before we get round to the start finish to conclude the race? That'd be a no. P13 with a 128.607. Wonder if that had been different had I started on mediums. Right in the running for fastest lap, other than the two front guys, of course. Happy days. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you're enjoying this series, please remember to hit that thumb. Maybe even subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.